I caught you out. Caught me out.
It caught you out, yeah. You were the one watching the numbers.
I was watching the numbers. Yeah.
We love songs that finish 3 or 4 times because you never know when they're actually finished. Yeah, Kiki D nearly caught us earlier. But,
Well, I'm going to talk about Facebook.
tell me about Facebook, Mike. The love of your life, Facebook. We know that.
I love Facebook. It's wonderful. Now, what I do know is that a lot of companies, I don't know whether you have any of your clients that do this, Rajesh and Karen, but that take a CV and then they want to fish around in the background to get a reality fix. And there's a piece of research here from an occupational psychologist looking at Facebook and what you can really learn from it and how you ought to be a bit cautious. So it's saying that what would you think, for example, if you had a CV in from someone from a position in either of your companies and you went on Facebook and you discovered that there was photographs of them heavily drinking in a bar and so on.
Or looking like a goth.
Or looking like a goth in a bar. Exactly. What would you think about them? And this is really particularly in respect of their conscientious, their commitment to your company. Would that
Well, the thing is that Facebook is predominantly used as a business to consumer marketing channel, and it's usually a very personal channel for people to communicate within their own little social groups. And actually, you know, what people get up to in their private lives, people are entitled to have a private life. And if they want to have a few beers or dress as a goth at weekends, then why not? You know, I mean, I don't think it's right for business owners to actually slate or you know, put a black mark against somebody that actually likes to, you know, let their hair down a bit at the weekend.
Yeah, and I think actually I'm a firm advocate of work hard and play hard.
Yeah.
And I think most people either work hard and play hard, and actually if they don't play hard, if they spend most of their evenings slumped in front of the telly, they probably don't work hard either. And I know that's a massive, massive generalisation, but we're talking about generalisations here. And actually, if I see that somebody's out partying every night, I might wonder if they actually have the stamina, and are they going to be coming in hungover and stuff. But if they're out partying at the weekend, well, you know, that's what the weekend's for.
Well, the having the stamina, whether they're going to be up to it, you know, come back to work feeling up for it and fully committed, was what it was about. Because they took a bunch of people and they correlated a particular test. They call it the Big Five. It looks at intelligence, conscientiousness, agreeableness, and extroversion. And it's a really interesting measure because it seems to cut across all the others, and it predicts such a lot that the others play around the edges with. But anyhow, they looked at various people in their profile and asked them some questions about their profile on Facebook, and then they correlated it with these measures. And okay, so if you've got someone who's putting bad-mouthing and being unpleasant about other people, it correlates very strongly with somebody who's low on agreeableness. Well, you would expect that.
Yeah.
People who go out partying and show the big, having a wild time as a goth, it does not correlate at all strongly with conscientiousness. So they probably would have a really good time in the bar and be thinking, but I better get up in the morning for work, so I'll not have the... You just don't know.
Yeah.
So that they were suggesting, and we had a conversation, didn't we, Rajesh? And you said your HR person is very cautious about using Facebook for other reasons.
Yeah, I had a conversation with our HR consultant with regards to, should I say, vetting CVs alongside Facebook, and there's a real risk where you do actually reject candidates, probably for legitimate reasons, but you could go on Facebook and maybe find out things about them, things about their family life and what have you that could be seen to have prejudiced your conclusion as to whether they should be brought in as a potential candidate or not.
You could even be fishing for technically illegal information, couldn't you? About how old they are when you're not supposed to...
Yeah.
I don't think they're supposed to ask these
But
days.
also, I think it's vaguely unfair, because if you have a candidate by the name of Mark Harris, you are going to struggle big time to simply find me on Facebook, because there's about 182,000 Mark Harrises. And one of the things I don't like about Facebook is you can't search geographically. You know, LinkedIn, you can search by all sorts of parameters, but Facebook, it's just, you know, the name. Whereas if you've got a candidate called Engelbert Humperdinck, you're going to find them. And so it skews the way in which, if you're comparing a CV with a CV, that's fair. If you're comparing a Facebook with a Facebook, you could argue that's fair. But to compare a Facebook with somebody whose Facebook you can't find, or who, heaven forfend, hasn't actually got a Facebook account, difficult. There was a candidate for a job that I was involved in a recruitment process of a little while ago, and he had an unusual name, so very easy to find him. I couldn't find his LinkedIn profile, and when I asked why, it's because he didn't have one. And the simple fact that he didn't have a LinkedIn profile as a person in business in a particular field, I thought, okay, that tells me a lot about you. Just by its absence.
I would suggest it gives you some questions to ask rather than give you any answers.
I agree.
The other thing that I'd like to say as well is that I think it's a very one-sided point of view that for a company to look at potential candidates' Facebook pages. I mean, I think the company that's actually employing somebody has a massive responsibility to ensure that they make the job and the role that person will actually be having as fulfilling and challenging and enjoyable as possible, so that potential employee or member of staff actually would perhaps think twice about that last drink at the bar on a Sunday night to say, do you know what, I really love my job, and actually I want to do a really good job, and so actually I'm not going to turn up with a hangover tomorrow, and I'm going to call it a day now.
Well, this does suggest that somebody's Facebook profile in the bar, etc., doesn't correlate at all with their likelihood of turning up with a hangover at work. But employers think it do, because it said here that employers definitely said that they take that as a red flag.
I'd be encouraged by it, because generally our industry is looked at as being a little bit dry, and so if I see someone in the bar, I'd say actually they might have a little bit of personality.
Whoa, hooray. and actually, just to close, I think that whatever source of information you have to take with a pinch of salt. If you see they've got an MBA, have they got on their CV? Have they got an MBA? If they say on Facebook they're out partying every night, is that the image they want to portray to their friends, but it's not even true? You've got to take it with a pinch of salt.
This research suggests that it correlates with about 7% in terms of the variance of your personality. So it's a very weak correlation with your personality characteristics and what you put on Facebook. Anyway, we're coming to a conclusion.